Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about finding the interest earned. We'll talk more in class about this idea because this is where a lot of people will end up using basically the skill of finding interest, determining what's the best loan to take, things like that. Sometimes they don't do it, so we'll talk about why we should be doing it, things like that. So let's get started. What we have is we have an equation, I equals PRT. What this is interest equals principal times rate times time. Principal is a fancy word just meaning the original amount. So that's either the original amount deposited, the original amount of the loan, the original, however, wherever you started, whatever that amount was, that's P. R stands for rate. Now that's the percent because a percent is a rate. That's the percent that you earn. And T is the amount of time, and the key thing is in years. So let's say something was in 6 months, that would be 6 out of 12, or 1/2 year. We'll get to examples like that possibly later, talk about it in class more. For now, we're gonna have full years, so we're not gonna worry about it as much. So we have an example where we put $500 in a savings account. Well, that's gonna be my principal, so I'm just gonna label it as such. Okay, so 500 is my principal. That's where I'm starting. The account earns 3%. Percent is my rate. So again, I'm going to go ahead and label it as such. And it says simple interest because there are different types of interest. You'll find that out later. Right now, we're talking about simple interest, and that's per year. What is the interest earned after 3 years? Well, that's an amount of time. So we have time here. I'm going to label it as such. What we find out is I don't have my I, but I have a P, I have an R, and I have a T. So I'm going to be able to use that to substitute. So my my T gets replaced by 3. My R gets replaced by 0.03. And my P gets replaced by 500. Now what that looks like is I'm going to put 500 down where the P was instead. Then I'm going to put 0.03 down where my R was. And I'm going to put 3 where my T was. And I'm going to solve. I'm going to take 500 times 0.03. Get an answer of 15 times 3 equals 45. So the amount of interest earned is $45, and that would be my answer, that after 3 years, when I deposited $500 and the interest rate was 3%, I earned $45. By the way, this is the concept that money makes money because you didn't have to do anything extra. You earned it through interest. Now, down here on B, what is the balance after 3 years? Well, we earned $45. We started with 500. What we actually have to do is we have to take our original amount, our principal, plus our interest, and that's going to be the amount, or that's going to be our balance. So when we again go through and substitute, our P was always 500, and we just found our interest of 45. So when we solve that, our balance, when it's simple interest, is $545. Make sure if you have any questions, you email those to me. If you don't remember how to find that percent, that would be a great thing to remind me that you don't remember how to change this or why we're changing this to 0.03 instead of using 3. So that would be one great example of what you could email me. Don't have to if you do remember. Otherwise, guys, stay safe out there. We'll see you next class.